Yes. Okay, Zubin, do this.
Well, I'll tell you what. Aaron Rodgers was the guy to watch, but how about the other Aaron? Aaron Jones was terrific today. Matt LaFleur was celebrating after it was over. A tough first half for Dak and Zeke. Certainly, Jerry's going to have some comments on the Cowboys' second loss in 7 days, especially after that very, very pedestrian first half offensively.
I can do the highlight now?
You can do it.
I really want to do this highlight.
You're up.
Can I do the highlight, guys? Let's do the highlight.
Oh, you got it.
Packers, Cowboys, Rodgers, Prescott. I mean, this is what you wanted down in Dallas. But Aaron Rodgers had a lot of success in the state of Texas, including Dallas itself. 2 straight wins there, including the playoffs. And all he does here is hand it off to Aaron Jones. And Jones would have himself a game, and he was motivated here in Big D. Give it to him again. Crushing up the middle. That running game was strong. And then 8 seconds ago in the first quarter, 2nd and goal now. Rodgers to Jones, give it to him. Jones in the camera like, yo, this is my house, not Jerry Jones' house. He said it's my house. First Packers running back with 100 yards and 2 touchdowns from scrimmage and a half since Amon Green back in 2003. It's 14-0. Rodgers trying to keep the pressure on for the Packers. Screen for Jones. And how about that stiff arm on Jalen Smith?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Tim.
I mean,
that's grown man stuff right there.
Is. He's showing a ton of speed today, but plenty of power like you see there.
So who do you give it to? You got to give it to Jones one more time, right? 3rd touchdown of the day. Did he really wave at the defender as he went by?
A little Tyreek Hill move right there. Yeah, he did.
Bye-bye. Oh, he is feeling himself. It's 24-0. Packers on the move again. Come on, not the 4th touchdown of the game for Jones. Come on, Coach, what did he do?
He's a heck of a player, impressive runner as well as a receiver.
First player with 4 rushing touchdowns in a game against the Cowboys. How about that for history? All right, so Dak Prescott and company, how do you respond when you give it to Ezekiel Elliott here from 2 yards out? Now it's 31-17. There's time to go in this game. Less than 8 remaining. It's a 34-17 game. And watch this play by Amari Cooper. Beats his defender, avoids the sideline, and that little spin move there. He's in the end zone, 53 yards on the score. It's 34-24. And again, there is time on the clock, but Cowboys had their chances late. Just couldn't get it back with the possession to go, and they lose it by that final 34-24. Prescott goes for 463, 2 touchdowns, but he did have 3 interceptions. That did not help the situation for the Cowboys as they fall to 3-2. After the game, Ed Werder caught up with 2 of the defensive stars of this game.
Za'Darius, can you explain?
Come on.
You 2 guys have come in here and made a real difference in Green Bay's ability to pressure the quarterback. How essential was that aspect of the game to doing what you did to Dak Prescott today?
Well, you know, we had to make up from last week. You know, we watched film, we corrected our mistakes, and the only thing we had to do was stop the run, and then we had some fun on 3rd down. So to be able to do that, man, the team came together, man, and we did our assignment. We did a great job at it.
Yeah, we did a great job executing today. We put emphasis on stopping the run. You know, we were playing against Zeke, and you know, and we knew we had to go out there, man, and be a beast up front, and we had to cause havoc on the quarterback, so they wouldn't have no good game.
You also had created 3 turnovers. That seemed to be a big part of your success on defense, coming off a game where you had no sacks and no turnovers.
Yeah, man. You know, we just came in and we emphasized getting the ball. That's what we talk about, man. Any ball that's thrown to us in our direction, man, we got to get it, man. If you get an opportunity to get an interception, you got to make a game-changing play to help the team out.
And what about your ability to take Elliott out of the game?
Like I said, man, we watched that film from last week after what we didn't do right, and the only thing we had to do was set our edges and hold our gaps.
And play assignment football,
exactly.
man.
And
Hold our gaps. We did that tonight.
We did a great job.
He didn't have a good night, did he?
He did it.
Sad night.
Preston and Za'Darius, thanks very much for joining us. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
All right, nice effort there from the defense in Green Bay, but we got to go back to Aaron Jones for a second. We mentioned those 4 touchdowns, so that matches the Packers' franchise record with 4 rushing scores. The first Green Bay player to do it since Dorsey Levens 20 years ago. Jones, as we mentioned, also the first player to ever rush for 4 scores in a game against the Dallas Cowboys. All right, so fantasy owners are going to say, yeah, Aaron Jones did everything here, Tim, but collectively running the football is a team effort. How was Green Bay able to be so effective against Dallas?
Well, it's a team effort. They're pushing guys around up front. I mean, that's how he was able to have so much success. You take a look at this run here. It's an inside zone run, and so the way they're going to block it is this. Now, because Aaron Jones will end up pushing the hole before he winds it back, that sets up the block for Billy Turner on Jalen Smith right there. Because he pressed the hole here, that gets Smith to come this way, and there goes Turner, where he's able to come up here, which creates that lane for Aaron Jones to be able to wind it back. And there was a lot of this going on. Another good example here now, it's inside zone again. This time it's a tremendous job of the center, Lindsley, of getting a reach block there, which is going to keep Jalen Smith, playing his position backside. But because of the good reach block, he's able to create a crease there for Aaron Jones. And then also, Jimmy Graham doesn't get a whole lot of love for blocking, but he's basically throwing Heath out the club right there, pushing him down the field. Then you get down into, one of his later touchdowns. Valdez Scantling is going to come down and crack on this safety. He's going to block him. Well, if you're basically in a crack replace situation if you're Jones, the safety. He basically has contained now because of the block on the safety. And then this is, it's a good job of the receiver, as you see him just washing him down. But now this is just speed to the perimeter by Aaron Jones. And so it was a team effort. As you see him wave as he goes into the end zone. Hey, listen, it was fun then. He'll get fined, this week for it. However, it was a really, really good job of the guys up front. And then I think other people involved in it, receivers involved in it, Jimmy Graham, the tight end, involved in it. And usually when a running back goes off, it's all hands on deck.
No question about it. You never hear this from the other 31 teams, but we'll hear from Jerry in just a moment. So hang tight for that. Just the way it is. On the other side, Coach, it's the Cowboys' second loss in 7 days. We'll have plenty to talk about them, but it was the Packers' defense. He just emphasized some of the stuff in the Packers, but you saw some stuff defensively from Matt LaFleur's team today you wanted to point out.
Yeah, I think this offseason, the Packers personnel department did a great job in going and creating speed on the edge. And I thought that was really evident in the game tonight, as far as Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. And you can see this here. This is Preston Smith coming around the edge, all right, with a little help from his friends. And then over here now, Zadarius, all right, Preston again coming up. But both guys, you see the penetration up the field. And that makes a quarterback very uncomfortable. You see the speed, and that's what they tried to accomplish this offseason in getting speed on that defense. And it's really helped the Green Bay Packers.
One thing I wanted to quickly mention after the loss to the Saints last week on Sunday Night Football, Jerry was a little critical of offensive coordinator Kellen Moore during the week. They dropped their second straight game now. Their offense came to life in the second half, but nothing going in the first half. How concerned are you there? Two good teams.
Well, and in terms of, Kellen Moore being the offensive coordinator, look, it's probably one of those things where there was an overreaction with their early success, thinking like, hey, we have Boy Wonder as our offensive coordinator, and things will, naturally, especially with how well, Dak was playing, come back down to earth just a little bit. He's a first-year play caller. There'll be games where he's great, and there'll be games that he's not. And really what will determine kind of what type of play caller he is for this year and going forward will be how he responds and grows from the games where he maybe wishes he called things differently.
And eventually, though, teams do scout, and they sort of find some things that coordinators doing too, right?
Look, and in fairness, Dak's first interception, Kellen Moore has called a play that's gotten Amari Cooper wide open, and he just doesn't catch the football, and it gets picked off by J.R. Alexander. Right. So, there's going to be times like that, too.
And let's not forget the last 2 weeks they've had 3 giveaways in each game against the Saints and today. So that's not the formula to winning football in the National Football League, and that's what they have to get squared away.
Jerry Jones live at the podium here on SportsCenter. As advertised, the boys fall for the second straight game.
Or a compliment to their quarterback.
Well, let's start by complimenting the quarterback, and he didn't disappoint as far as what he is to compete against. But with him out there, it was a daunting task to dig as big a hole as we did with him quarterbacking, and frankly, them playing as solid as they were playing, we dug such a hole there early. I thought, though, that as a Cowboy fan, I particularly was impressed with individual, how they competed individually. I thought of Woozy's hit that he came up and made was inspirational, that he made it there in the fourth quarter. Those are the kinds of things that really are encouraging about individual competitiveness with our team. We've got mistakes that we made early and throughout that everybody's aware of, and I'm not being trite about them. But you can't get behind a team like that, those numbers, where we were, and really not expect to be disappointing. Our team didn't understand that, though, and that's the best thing for me tonight. Our team didn't understand right at the end of that game in the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes, that they couldn't win this game. And
unsportsmanlike conduct flag on Jason Garrett.
What?
The unsportsmanlike conduct flag. What did you make of that?
Well, I think the same guy didn't bother me with much as that as he did not calling that interference call on our receiver across the middle. To me, that's his call too. So I don't know what in the world to make of all that.
Jerry, how's Lyle Collins?
I think he's fine. That's a MCL, but he didn't think, just he didn't think. I didn't talk to any of the trainers or doctors, but he didn't think it was going to be an ongoing problem for him.
Does the way this game...
It was not his back.
Jerry, does the way this game started, the first 3 quarters, is that some form of a reality check for where this team is at? Do you want every guy to kind of look back at it like that?
Well, I just know that you can get behind when you're playing these teams that you play in the NFL. You get behind that much, and you've really diminished your chances of coming out on top. On the other hand, it shows you that you can get ahead by that much, and you don't have it made at all. You can have some things go. I had hoped that the turnovers might start coming our way. They didn't. You say, well, isn't that a little bit of dreaming and praying? Yes, it is. But it does happen. It has to.
So when's the last time you heard an owner, not a head coach, give an injury update? He just gave an injury update during the press conference.
He's also president and general manager, Zubin.
He could probably do whatever he wants. There's no question about it. How about them Cowboys? Last 2 games, nothing doing. You better believe Jason Garrett's going to get some questions from Jerry Jones. Here's Jason getting some questions from the media.
But, you know, the 2 turnovers really hurt us.
They gassed you in the running game some, especially. Did that kind of keep you on your heels defensively?
Yeah, that was the biggest issue on defense, is they were able to run the ball. They ran the ball inside on us when they got down in the red zone a couple times, which is really uncharacteristic of our defense. That's the thing we do as well as anything. So, you know, the gap discipline and just physically getting off of blocks and making plays across the board wasn't consistent enough, particularly early on in the game. I thought it got better as the game went on, but they ran the ball too easily against us.
Did they do anything you weren't expecting from film?
Not really. Not really.
What happened on the replay challenge where you were flagged for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Yeah, obviously on that play, we had a great view of it, and they called it an incompletion. So it was such a big play in the game. You know you have to use your flag there. We had already challenged a potential pass interference earlier. So you know in that situation you're going to have to use the flag to get the call correct, or you're not going to have that for later in the game. So obviously I didn't handle that situation as well as I should have. I knew we were going to get the play because I saw it, and unfortunately we had to use the flag there. And you know, he made that decision to throw a flag on me.
Jason, 2 first-place teams, 2 losses. What does this say about your club and where they are right now?
Yeah, not really in the business of that. Just really in the business of getting back to work and trying to get better. You know, our goal every week is to get better each and every day and practice and get better from week to week. And we'll continue to strive to do that. 2 challenging games. Didn't get it done in either of them the last couple of weeks. We'll learn from the experience and hopefully grow, get stronger, and get better as we go.
Do you feel some of your frustration or
from the side judge as to why he threw that flag on you? Did you get an explanation from the side judge as to why he threw that flag?
Yeah, that was the play where we had the big completion, and we had to correct it by me throwing a flag, and then apparently he didn't like how I threw the flag.
Do you agree that your emotion there merited an unsportsmanlike?
That's not my decision.
Did you think it was the spiking of the flag or something you said?
I really don't know.
Did you feel there was a sense of frustration from not getting the call on the Brown interference that kind of seeped into how you reacted on that play as well?
Oh, again, it was just a big play in the game. I knew we had used the flag once, and I knew we were going to have to use it again to correct their error. And when you do that, and the first one doesn't get overturned, you're out of challenges. And so I knew that was the situation. But we had to use it in that particular situation to correct the mistake that they made. And you know, so didn't handle it well. Our team handled it really well, though. I don't know if you saw the rest of the game after that. We completed a 26-yarder on the next play and went right down and scored. So our team did a really good job handling that adversity.
Did you think it was a poorly officiated game?
It's not my place to share my opinion about that.
Jason, should Cam Fleming have had a little more help at all during the game? Because there are times where he was getting beaten one-on-ones.
Yeah, we'll go back and look at the tape. It looked like at first glance that Cam did a good job fighting and battling. They got a good front. Certainly, you try to help them different ways with the protections you call and all of that. But I think for the most part, he stood in there and blocked fairly well, both in the run game and the pass game.
How pivotal was that play on the first drive to Amari? Do you think that changes the tenor of the game, even if it's that first drive?
The turnover?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously turnovers are critical in the game. You only have so many possessions, and you got to make sure you maximize them. And it was such a makeable play. It was a really good throw. Amari ran a good route and won, and just uncharacteristically, the ball came out, and they were able to make a play. But you have to put it behind you, and you have to go to the next play.
How do you unpack a game like this where it was competitive at the end, you kept fighting, but, I mean, you were down by 24 and really didn't give yourself much of a chance to get back into this?
Yeah, I think the basic analysis is I thought we fought hard. The spirit of the team is unbelievable. The closeness of the team is really strong. You have to play winning football. You can't turn the ball over 3 times, and we have to do a better job defending the run. And if we do a better job in those areas, we give ourselves a much better chance to win this game. So, we'll go back tomorrow and look at the tape and break it down play by play, player by player, what we did, what we didn't do, all of that. But at first glance, it comes down to those things. Turn the ball over, -3 in the turnover ratio. You're not going to win a lot of games. Go back the last 100 years in the NFL and look at that statistic. And then obviously not stopping the run as well as we needed to.
Is it surprising to see Dak make those mistakes in a game where he could make a lot of plays, as you said? A lot of open receivers?
Yeah, the first one was a throw and catch and came out from Amari. So I would not necessarily put that on him, not that we're in the interest of placing blame here. The other one, at first glance, looked like he was a little aggressive, forcing it in there. And then on the third one, I don't know if you saw the play, but the receiver was contacted the whole time and was pulled down, and there was an interference on it. And again, that goes back to the ability to use that flag late in the game. Rather than having to correct a call, you don't have that flag in your pocket anymore. So those things are going to happen in a game like that. So certainly a little bit disappointing that way.
Jason, are you frustrated?
So the Cowboys fall to 3-2. Meanwhile, Matt LaFleur's squad improves to 4-1.
Aaron tonight, he definitely came up big. I mean, to be able to he broke a lot of tackles out there, and he finished runs. And we knew going into this game that we had to be physical, and it starts up front. But I was really proud of our guys, both offensively, defensively, and on special teams. We had some adversity, fought through a lot of injuries, had guys going in and out of the lineup. And against a really quality football team. I mean, they're a really good team, and it's always tough to go on the road in this league, and especially in this building, and pick up a win. But it was just a great team win.
Going forward, can you marry your passing game with the inside zone as well as you can with the outside zone?
Yeah, I think so. We just had much more success with the inside zone today. Just coming off the football, you saw a lot of cross sifts, and again, it was really good running by our running back, Aaron Jones, and Trey Carson got in there and did a little bit of damage too. He had a couple good runs as well.
Hey, Coach, what do you see from Za'Darius? 2 sacks today, but went down a couple times, but had the will to come back every single time.
Yeah, he is such a competitor. I love his mentality, his attitude that he brings to this football team. He's battling through some things right now, just like a lot of our guys are. But he's been such a key contributor, not only on the field, but just in our locker room as well, just that mentality, that mindset that he has.
Why were you able to give Dak Prescott and that offense so many pounds with your defense today?
Well, they did a lot of good things too. Until I go back and look at the tape, it's going to be tough to say. But I do know that we have to clean up a lot of things, in all 3 phases. But today they were able to come back in that game a little bit. We gave up way too many big plays.
In today's game, the players are injured. Any of those people likely to be out any extended period of time?
I don't have an update for you right now.
And just talk about what you guys were dealing with on the sideline there with, as you said before, guys going in and out of the lineup. There were these momentum shifts, obviously, in the game. Just what was this like in terms of just managing everything that was going on?
Yeah, there was a lot going on. You know, I know we lost our center early, Corey Lindsley, and Bobby Tanyan went out. You know, we had a couple receivers go in and out, and then just like we talked about, Za'Darius was in and out a little bit. Kevin King gets helped off the field, so there was a lot of that going on, and you know, you have to adjust in this league. And I thought our coaches did a pretty good job, but again, there's still a lot out there to clean up, and that's what we got to do moving forward.
So LaFleur and company will have a little bit of time to wait. They're next up in a very intriguing NFC North game on Monday Night Football, not tomorrow, but obviously a week from tomorrow, against the Detroit Lions. We'll wait to see what happens there at Lambeau Field. This is the NFL's 100th anniversary, and sometimes we're seeing things we've never seen before, including the way you throw a challenge flag gets you a flag. We're going to show this to you on the screen. You've had a long, illustrious coaching career. What did you make of it, John?
Well, it's not very often that an official will throw a personal foul penalty on a head coach. So sometimes those guys got to curb their emotions a little bit too. But I can understand the frustration that Jason Garrett has, is because you only have 2 challenges, and they'd already used one earlier on a pass interference. And he's standing right where that guy's standing, and he saw it differently. So that is frustrating. And I'm sure Jason right now wishes he'd handled it differently, because obviously the 15-yard penalty hurts your football team. But to me, I think the officials got to be, a little less emotional as well.
He basically dunked it on him.
He kind of spiked it right in his face is what he did. I mean, right?
Well, but he didn't hit the man.
He wanted to, though.
I'm going to agree with Coach on this one, because if it's right in front of you and you've already used one, and by the way, you thought the one that you challenged before should have been overturned in the pass interference, you're not exactly going to be like, hey, would you mind looking at this one again? No, you are going to throw it down and be like, come on, man, get it right.
But it was right in front of the official, too, as Coach pointed out. And I can understand the frustration. But then, you want your players to control their emotions,
exactly.
John? So you need the coach to do the same, right?
Well, like I said, he didn't swing at anybody. He didn't punch or throw anything at anybody. He just threw it into the ground extra hard.
Did you ever do that? You ever spike one?
Oh, yeah.
We need people to dig that video up, please.
Yes.
We need that for tomorrow.
It'll be on Twitter in about 15 minutes, probably.
So here we are. The Packers are 4-1. They had that tough loss to the Eagles. We didn't hear about anything in the preseason between LaFleur and Rodgers playing together. We've spent a lot of time talking about the Cowboys. How about unpacking the Packers here from what we've seen through 5 games?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you look at the Packers and that relationship between Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers, you got to realize that Aaron Rodgers is an absolute eraser when it comes to fixing things around him.
Right.
Like most really good quarterbacks are. I mean, you think about guys that have been great quarterbacks. Peyton Manning was so good pre-snap that it would get you into the right thing. And Aaron Rodgers is different. A lot of the times it's post-snap. So when, you get beat up front and you got pressure inside and you're backed up, the ability to escape outside the pocket and make a play when it's not perfect. Similar situation, when things kind of get distorted, climb in the pocket and just make an absurd throw to the sideline that other guys can't make. Then a pressure off the edge that's unblocked, and the ability to just quickly get the ball out of your hand, adjust your arm angle so that the ball doesn't get batted up in the air and picked off. And oh, by the way, you just get absolutely sandwiched from both sides. And so, when you just look at Aaron Rodgers and the things that he's able to do, like, wow, this offense is really rolling. Everyone's playing great. And it's like, well, look, here's the deal. They ran the ball great today. The offensive line moved people around. Aaron Rodgers created offense for them today by doing some of that stuff, and it helped them win the game.
And he's really comfortable in Texas. Look what he's done here. 3 straight wins against the Cowboys, beat the Texans once before as well. And that Super Bowl victory, that was in this very stadium.
Do you think that's why he's growing the stash? Do you think that might be why I just put a cowboy hat on?
Is that what it is?
With the stash. It looked like he grew up there.
Deep in the heart of Texas, he's 7-2 now against the Cowboys. Live